Hey Canelo, if the WBC asks you to either fight Golovkin next or give up the belt, what do you do?
I'm ready.
You ready? So we're gonna see Golovkin in May or what?
I'm ready.
There it is. Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So it was just reported by ESPN's Dan Rafael that Canelo Alvarez and Team Canelo, they are already scheduled to return to HBO and fight on regular HBO, a non-pay-per-view card. Now, there's a couple of questions that come to mind when I hear this news. The first question is, if HBO can afford to put Canelo Alvarez on regular HBO in December, how come they didn't put Canelo versus Liam Smith on regular TV? That makes no sense to me. We all know that when you have fights like Thurman versus Porter that's on free TV, why would fans want to pay for Canelo versus Liam Smith on pay-per-view? Now, the second question is, why is HBO so quick to schedule Canelo Alvarez's next fight before he even fights Liam Smith? And I guess that second question is kind of like a rhetorical question, right? It's because perhaps HBO, they believe that Canelo Alvarez's next opponent really has no chance at all. So, I mean, this is interesting news, though. This is really interesting news because it makes you wonder who Canelo would possibly fight. If he's fighting someone like Liam Smith, who would he fight next and then fight on HBO? Because if he's fighting on regular TV, I can't really see him fighting one of the best guys at 154 or one of the best guys at 160. Now, anything is possible. For all I know, HBO, maybe they could throw a monkey wrench in the program and they could say, hey, Canelo, you're going to have to fight a top-notch fighter if we put you on HBO. Maybe that'll happen. I doubt it. I would love for that to happen, but I doubt that's going to happen. So who can Canelo Alvarez fight if Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy are trying to protect Canelo Alvarez from taking another L? Now, one name has come to mind, and it's because this guy has been mentioned before. He just came off of a loss. He would be considered much smaller than Canelo Alvarez, so it seems like he would be just right for the picking. At least that's the Canelo or Team Canelo perception, I'm assuming. And that is Showtime Shawn Porter. That's right, the welterweight Showtime Shawn Porter. Now, I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised if they were to target this guy. But then again, at the same time, he was very aggressive against Keith Thurman. He showed a lot of durability. He doesn't have an Amir Khan type of chin. So who knows? Who knows what Canelo Alvarez is thinking right now? But if he's coming back 3 months later or less than 3 months later, whatever it is, to fight again, it's hard to believe he's going to be facing one of the best fighters in the division. Now, there was speculation that when Canelo decided to fight Khan, that was supposed to be a tune-up. But now Canelo is facing Liam Smith next. So I guess this is another tune-up. Who does Canelo Alvarez fight after Liam Smith? Will it be another tune-up? Now you guys have to also think about this. This is why this situation is getting more and more interesting, because assuming that Canelo beats Liam Smith, he becomes the WBO Super Welterweight Champion. Now, if he holds that belt, or if he keeps that belt, then he may end up being forced to fight a top-notch fighter that is ranked by the WBO. So the question is, what does Canelo do in that situation? Does he give up the belt again and hand it over to the mandatory? Or will he just go ahead and fight one of those guys that he's ordered to fight? So it'll be interesting. It'll really, really be interesting to see who Canelo fights next. So it definitely is good news that we get to watch Canelo Alvarez on regular HBO. But the bad news is, if HBO would make us pay for Canelo versus Liam Smith, just imagine what type of opponent they would accept Canelo to fight when it comes to a non-pay-per-view card. That's almost a scary thought when you think about it. But we'll see. Now, before I wrap this video up, let me give you a list of the top fighters at 154. You have Jamal Charlo, Demetrius Andrade, Vanes Monterosian, Julian Rock Williams, and Edis Landy Lara. Now let me give you some of the names that are available for Golovkin at the middleweight division. You have fighters like Danny Jacobs, BJ Saunders, and David Lemieux. Of course, you have Gennady Golovkin. There's a couple other fighters that someone like Canelo could face. Remember, when Andre Ward moved up to light heavyweight, he took on the #1 contender, who happened to be undefeated with a Cuban amateur pedigree. But I wouldn't even ask Canelo to do something like that. Canelo could easily fight someone like a David Lemieux. He could even fight a Willie Monroe and still get credit for moving up to face a bigger, stronger opponent. Okay? So no one's asking Canelo to do something heroic, but it would be a good look if he did do something like that. Because like I said, other fighters have done that. So with all these fighters at 160 and 154, who will Canelo fight in December? Boy, it's going to be interesting to see who he picks. Canelo Alvarez, he already made serious headlines by announcing that he was going to fight Liam Smith. Let's see who he decides to fight in December. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
Hi, you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation. Woo! Hey.